Hello, dear students. Good morning, all of you. Hope you are doing well. And as you know, in previous class we studied about moment of inertia of different regularly shaped bodies. Okay, regularly shaped bodies like a hoop, a ring, circular ring, or a rod, or a disc, like that. Many cylinders. So we studied the moment, calculated, in fact we calculated the moment of inertia of such bodies. And this module 2, we will continue with the calculation of moment of inertia of different regularly shaped bodies. But here focus will be to measure the moment of inertia of solid sphere, thick sphere. Okay, we can calculate both for solid sphere and the hollow sphere, but we will focus here to calculate the moment of inertia of solid sphere. So solid sphere and hollow sphere, it differs in the matter that it is bulk of the sphere is also filled with matter. Okay, whereas hollow sphere, the bulk of the sphere is not filled with matter; it is free of material. And we will calculate the moment of inertia with respect to an axis passing through one of its diameter. So with respect to that diametric axis, sphere can rotate. So we will calculate in a simple way. A sphere can have number of axes, as you know. A symmetrical sphere can revolve around so many axes. So we can take any axis, any particular axis, say horizontal axis. Imagine that the sphere is revolving around this axis with respect to this axis. And you can see from the diagram that a sphere can be imagined to be made up of a large number of, infinite number of thin discs. Okay, such an elementary disk is shown in the figure. And the spheres is composed of infinite number of such disks whose radii vary from minus r to plus r. You can imagine like that. Center point is 0. So any disk you can imagine. Okay. So let us consider any one such disk, say at a distance, say x. Okay. Any one disk. So this is our sphere. This is the center of the sphere. Imagine the radius of the sphere is capital R, and we assume a small disk at a distance x from the center. Let the height of this disk, or you can say the radius of the disk, be y. From the figure it is clear. And the whole sphere is made up of large number of such disks. P, Q, S, T, the name given to it. Okay. Then how will we calculate the total moment of inertia? You can calculate the total moment of inertia by calculating the moment of inertia of a single disk. Then you sum up the moment of inertia of each and every disk from minus r to plus r. So you will get the total moment of inertia of the entire sphere, the solid sphere. Okay. So we know already that moment of inertia of a disk of finite thickness is given by mr square by 2. Okay, and here we assume that this disk is of some thickness dx. So you will calculate the mass of this disk first, then radius is y already given. So mr square by 2 will give you the moment of inertia of this small disk. Okay, so see how will we calculate mass. So in order to calculate the mass, we have the moment of inertia expression here. Here we need to calculate the mass. We can calculate the mass by knowing the volume of the disk. Volume multiplied by density will give you the mass of this disk. Okay. So how will you calculate the mass? So mass equal to volume of the disk into density of the disk. Then volume of the disk will be equal to pi y square dx. Dx is the height of this disk. Okay. So pi y square will be area of the bottom. So pi y square on the disk will be the volume of the disk. Okay. And what about the density of this sphere or the density of the disk? Both are similar. That will be equal to mass of the sphere divided by volume of the sphere. Sphere's radius is r, so volume will be 4 by 3 pi r. So we got the density of the disk. So mass into density will give you the mass of the mass of the disk. So this is the volume multiplied by density will give the mass of the disk. So what about the moment of inertia of the disk? Moment of inertia will be equal to mass into volume into density into y square. That's the radius square divided by 2. Okay, we have used the standard formula mass square by 2 in which these are substituted. Why it is di? Because it is an elementary moment of inertia of a thin disk. When you calculate total moment of inertia, we will use the notation capital I. So anyway, this is di already we have written, and from which you can see many terms can be cancelled. Pi cancelled. Okay. On cancellation of many terms, the remaining quantities will be 3m y raised to 4 dx by 8. It is obvious from the screen. And also we know that y square equals to r square minus x square. Just take the Pythagoras theorem and apply here. You will definitely get y square equal to r square minus x square. R square minus x square. So that is substitute here. Rest of the terms are same. So now the variable is only x. Okay, all the remaining things are constants. You can see from the figure. And this process is called parameterization. Okay, parameterization. On parameterization, our integration becomes very simple. So now total moment of inertia can be calculated by integrating the above relation from minus r to plus r. So let us do that integration. We are integrating from minus r to plus r. Expression is same, 3m r square minus x square all raised to 2 divided by 8 r cube dx. So prior to integration, you can square it and expand the term. On expansion, you will have taking the constants outside, and on expansion you have r raised to 4 plus x raised to 4 minus 2r square x square dx. Okay. Now you can integrate one by one, term by term you can integrate, so that the calculation becomes simple. Okay, so on integration we get r raised to 4x for the first term, x raised to 5 by 5 for the second term, and 2r square x cube by 3 for the third term. And you have to apply the limits from minus r to plus r. So that's a simple thing. On substitution of minus r and plus r, just a subtract. That process is left for you. You can do it at your disposal time. And finally, you will get that moment of inertia equal to 2 by 5 m square. A very compact relation is obtained by which a moment of inertia of any spherical body can be easily calculated. Only thing you need to know is the total mass of the body and the radius of the sphere. And keep in mind, this is applicable for a symmetric sphere. Okay, a sphere whose shape is highly symmetric, spherical, then spherical with a radius r. Okay, so this equation will come to your use for different problems, and difficult physical situation can be easily understood using this equation. Okay, so this is what is called moment of inertia of a sphere. And here we would be interested also to know how can we related kinetic energy of a body, a rotating body, with the moment of inertia. Okay, so very often we come across very rotating body, lot of rotating body. When a body is rotating, how we can calculate the kinetic energy of the body? It is called rotational kinetic energy. We have both linear kinetic energy and rotational kinetic. How can we calculate a rotational kinetic energy of a body? So here we consider a system, a body. Okay, you can see a body of some arbitrary shape, and there are so many constant particles inside it. Mi or m1 is one particle at a distance r1. Suppose this particle is revolving around the axis, say y-axis, with some velocity vi. Then naturally you can write the velocity in terms of va. Okay, va. So kinetic energy you can write half mi va square. For a single ith particle, the kinetic energy will be half mi va square. Then the total kinetic energy of the sphere can be calculated by summing up each and every particle. So we are adding up the kinetic energy of each and every particle, starting from 1 to capital. Okay, assume that there are capital N number of particles in the body. And suppose the body is revolving with an angular velocity omega, then Va you can definitely write in terms of Ri and omega, because we know V equals R times omega. Okay, so ith particle linear velocity will be equal to Ri into omega. So we can replace the Vi square here. So we will get what is called summation of Mi. We replaced Vi with Ri omega. So Ri omega all square. Okay. So that will give you half Mi Ri square omega square. And omega is a constant quantity for the entire particles. Irrespective of the particles, omega will be constant. So you can take it outside. So on taking outside omega in 1 by 2, inside you get a term summation I equal to 1 to n Mi Ri square. What is this actually? The bracketed term is the total moment of inertia of the body. We have earlier studied it, and we know this is the total moment of inertia of the all body. So we can replace this with some capital I. So we get the kinetic energy equals half I omega square. Okay, and a compact relation is reached, which indicates the total kinetic energy of the body, provided that I is the moment of inertia of the body. So we could relate moment of inertia and kinetic energy like this with the help of angular velocity of the body. Okay, and another one we want to study is how can we relate torque and angular acceleration. These are two quantities coming in rotational motion, and we already know angular momentum is given by I times omega. Okay, that is clearly explained, and it is derived in one of the previous module. And we also know torque is equal to dl by dt, rate of change of angular momentum is called torque, and we can replace L with I omega, so we get d by dt of I omega, and I is a constant, we know moment of inertia is a constant for a rigid body, so I can be taken out, and d omega by dt is coming. D omega by dt is actually called angular acceleration. It is acceleration. Okay, whenever the body is getting its angular velocity changing, we get angular acceleration. So we write and tau is equal to I alpha. So we could relate torque and angular acceleration using the concept of moment of inertia. This is yet another application of moment of inertia. Okay. In the previous topic also we found how moment of inertia can be used to relate angular kinetic energy, rotational kinetic energy, and angular velocity. Okay, so hope these ideas are clear and clearly explained. Please try to watch the video at least twice before trying to attempt the problems. And here is a time for your assignment. You can see in the picture Earth is there and the moon is revolving around it in some specific orbits, and let us have a problem connecting these phenomena. And here the question goes like this: how far is the center of mass of the Earth Moon system from the center of Earth? Okay, mass of the moon is given and the mass of Earth is also given. Okay, and the distance between Earth and Moon is given as 3.8 into 10 raised to 8 meter. Question is what? How far away is the center of mass of the system? Okay, you have the equation R is equal to motion vector to the center of mass is equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, that is the position vector equation. Here you can assume that the position vector you take from the center of mass point. So then you can get r is equal to 0. Okay, position vector of the center of mass with respect to center of mass, that is equal to 0. So you can also write m1 r1 plus m2 r2 equal to 0. Why? Because position vector is taken with respect to center of mass. Okay, this is the hint given to you. You can make use of this hint clue to do the problem. Okay, so you do it correctly. All the best. We have the second assignment here now. You can see there is an earth revolving and the question is related to some revolving body. Okay, body is revolving, then some question is there. A solid sphere of diameter 25 centimeter and mass 25 kilogram rotates about an axis through its center. Okay, just like the sphere shown in the figure. A solid sphere is there. Calculate its moment of inertia if its angular velocity changes from 2 radian per second to 12 radian per second in 5 seconds. Also calculate torque applied. So in fact, the moment of inertia can be easily found from the dimensional consideration, and you no need of any ideas of angular velocity for calculating moment of inertia. But anyway, you have a second question, torque. You have a torque. Okay. So from the given data, I hope you can find out change in angular velocity that may give you some idea, that may give you some help to find the torque. Hope you can do both the problem nicely, and please do submit in Google Classroom in due time. So with these comments, let us conclude this session. Thank you all of you. Wish you good luck. Thank you.